Hero Berserker in a nutshell. Berserker is the next hero coming to Clash Royale. You can find her in the Ken challenge for free, which doesn't involve any buying, but I appreciate you using code Abdod to support the channel anyway. Here's her stats, and she has a 3 elixir ability, which is kinda funny given she is a 2 cost. The ability transforms her into a bear, and her attack speed becomes twice as fast as X-Bro. The attack speed is so insane, it just straight up tears apart giants like it's nothing. It's basically a DPS machine. And if you're wondering, yes, she works with Rune Giant and will get a buff every 0.6 seconds, which is really crazy. The cool thing is that there is a 75% crown tower damage reduction that applies on towers to make sure she doesn't one-shot them. But that reduction doesn't apply on the Rune Giant buff, so that could be dangerous to let near your towers. The ability only lasts 4 seconds, so it might not be the most reliable DPS output if you have a full pig pen on your tower. And for that reason, they gave her an ultra fast speed. I am not joking, they made up a new speed just for her. From what I have noticed, the difference between very fast and ultra fast is not that much. So if they want to waste your ability, kiting can be kinda okay, I guess. Or they can take out your Berserker given she is very squishy. What? Why isn't she dying? That's quite simple. It's because she is immortal as long as she has the bear ability activated. The way this immortality works is that she can get damaged normally, it's just she won't go under 1 HP. With this in mind, it's much more efficient to activate the ability when she is very low on HP already, because if you don't, she will be taking damage while in bear form and will likely get no use out of the immortality. Obviously, Rage can speed up her attack speed, which leads me to an interesting idea. Attacking her isn't always useless because slowing effects will still affect her. The curse from Mother Witch will also carry on her after the ability is over. Heck, even stuff like Evo Bats that heal will still count even though she is immune to all damage. Now, to no one's surprise, this hero is much more defensive than offensive. For example, a very perfectly fast placement on Hog Rider can lead to fully countering him, which I guess 5 for 4 elixir is kinda eh. Against bridge spam units, she can do an amazing job because she's unkillable for 4 seconds. It can do fine against decks with heavy spells like Minor Rocket, where the ability can make her survive a pre-rocket. She isn't that great against swarm cards, which is interesting given that usually splash or fast attack speed means good swarm control. That makes certain win conditions, especially the swarmy ones, nearly unaffected by her ability unless you don't mind taking an insane amount of damage. But against regular troops, she can be a good option to drop on support cards to assassinate them, given that she can withstand so much damage. Just make sure she doesn't die before the deploy timer ends though, cause that would be very tragic. All in all, if you master the timings on your abilities, you would be able to tank some very hard hitters and protect your other troops, or stall some cards that you don't have the ability to deal with. Offensively, she can be used in 2 different ways. One being as a tank because it just shields your win conditions from all attacks, or she can be used to force horrible trades from your opponent. When you think about it, activating the ability high up on the bridge is a bad idea because it's easy to stall and waste it. But if she gets near the tower, they don't have any options other than tanking it. And the DPS on that thing is so high, there is almost nothing cheaper than 3 elixir that can fully tank the card. Kiting can be an option for them, but it's very risky if she was close on tower, and her ultra fast speed will allow her to deal a lot of damage on their tank anyway. Spells aren't really gonna do much, maybe Freeze can stall it a bit down, but it's a negative trait. Tornado, I guess, is the one spell that can do a positive trade if you consider the King activation. Countering it can be a little weird. For example, Evo Skeletons can work because, well, they multiply. Honestly, most swarm cards can face tank it because of the way she stutters while switching targets. Mini tanks are not recommended. The way she shreds a knight and still swings on tower is certainly something. Ice Golem can get a positive trade, but overall, the other mini tanks are 4 or more elixir, so they mostly just die. A taunt can waste a lot of DPS by making her move instead of attack, which is a niche counter but worth keeping in mind. Freeze technically can just cancel the ability, but she will still be tanking, so it's not that great of a play. Though there are ways to abuse its immortality. For example, Magic Archer can get crazy lineups without worrying about her dying. Evo Dart Goblin's poison will stay longer on her and will damage all the other troops behind her. If you feel like they will pop their ability, an Evo Idrak can keep an infinite chain going as long as she is alive. Overall, just play safe and don't let her near your towers, or don't overcommit on offense when you know they can use the ability. I do think this hero will likely be good in all the decks that already use Berserker, so certainly you can just use it without switching your playstyle. It covers one of the weaknesses of the card, which is being a mini tank but not really a mini tank enough that you would want to run a second mini tank. However, with this ability, instead of playing a knight with her, you can just make her stall longer if necessary. Hyperbait decks might start using her as a way to stall pushes, which low-key has me worried because it can just act like a freeze in triple elixir. Beatdown and lava decks might find a way to use it because if they don't need the ability, the base card can do fine defending some small stuff. But if you get a very big push against them, they can have the option to activate the ability and get some really strong defense when necessary. Expo decks can also find value in this because it can block so many cards off their Expo for a long time while defending and dealing heavy damage to them. For King Tower activations, you obviously can pull her with the ability given her weight isn't that high. I think if she was played towards the middle of the arena, it is possible to pull her in with 0 damage on your towers. I'll have to say though, the pause she does can mess up your timings, so be very careful and don't go for an early tornado. With Fisherman, you can activate the King Tower because the immortality allows her to survive and hit the king once. The tiny issue with this is that if they activated the ability a little bit early, it might not work, which leads me to believe that the Fisher activation is a bit unrealistic. Here is the new arena. It's Viking themed to fit with the Hero Valk and Evo E-Barbs coming soon. That shade of blue on the river is honestly very satisfying to look at, and there is a little crow up there. Here are the sound effects. So I'm a bit unsure what my thoughts on this hero are, cause like I feel it's tame given it's a 3 elixir ability. Like when I played against it, the cycle of the opponent getting slower was very noticeable. However, I am worried it will become impossible to break through if Hyperbait spams it in triple elixir. Overall, I think it's fine. Hopefully I don't end up eating my words on that, my dudes.